What's happening? So, the most stacked UFC card of the year. I cannot wait for this card. This card is off the chain from top to bottom. This card is just ridiculous. I hope no one pulls out, man. Before we start, I'm going to just put something on my screen. Email I got. I think I've showed some of you guys this. Steven Silver emailed this to me. You use promo code Iceman. You're going to receive the promo code Iceman, 125% deposit bonus, matching your initial deposit. Available in US, Canada, and Europe. These guys were giving a $500 refund to some people. Um, for It was just crazy. I've never seen any gambling site give out $500 refunds for your losses, and there was any bet, just like $500. If you lose it on a single bet, we'll refund you. Just unheard of. That's why you got to use BetUS. Promo code Iceman. And we got a banger coming up. This is the big one. Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev. Now I'm going to start in the beginning. And man, these beginning, like some of these guys in the beginning could be fighting on main cards, main events. Like these guys are the real deal. So first fight on the card, Armen Petrosyan takes on AJ Dobson. Armen Petrosyan, probably one of the most experienced kickboxers in the UFC. He's a guy who's got like 70 or 80 pro kickboxing fights. His last fight was a unanimous decision loss to Chao Bahala, who just outgrappled him. Chao Bahala, real deal striker and grappler, just more better mixed martial artist. And unfortunately, Armen Petrosyan was not able to keep it on his feet and lost a unanimous decision. But before that, he did beat Gregory Rodriguez, that RoboCop dude who's the real deal. And this should be an easy win for Armen Petrosyan. So I'm going easily Armen Petrosyan all day on that one. Now, Muhammad Mokaev. You guys know I've been high on this kid for a long time. Even before he was in the UFC, I've been saying, you got to get this guy in the UFC. When he was like 18, 19, he started his pro MMA, I think, or MMA career at like 14 or something. Just, crushing guys. He went 22-0 as an amateur, 22-0 as an amateur. That's unreal. Now he's, 7-0 as a pro, 31 win streak, 30 fight win streak. So just the guy's the real deal, man. And he's just going to murder Malcolm Gordon everywhere. If it's on the feet, he'll beat him there. If it's on the ground, he will dominate Malcolm Gordon. So, Malcolm Gordon, you're in for a long night against probably one of the best fighters in that 125 division, in my opinion. He might not be ranked there, but he will be. Up next, Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov takes on Gadzhi Omar Gadziev. Yeah, so Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov, obviously related to Khabib. I think they're cousins or something, or I'm not sure what the relationship is exactly, to be honest. But, he's fighting out of that Dagestan area. A lot of his guys and teammates are fighting on this card. So you already know he's going to be super prepared for this fight. Now, his last fight was a unanimous decision win over Jared Gooden, and before that, he got caught in that triangle to David Zawada. Now he's taking on Gadzhi Omar Gadziev. This guy is the real deal as well. His only loss in MMA was to Chao Bohala. No shame losing to Chao Bohala because Chao Bohala is the real deal. My pick on this fight, I think this fight's going over 1.5. I think both these guys are super tough, and it's going to be hard to get one of them out of there. So over 1.5 is my pick on that one. Up next, Magomed Mustafaev. He's a huge favorite, for this fight. Crazy. His last fight, he coming off, a loss to Brad Riddell. But before that, he beat Fiziev with that spinning back kick, which was pretty crazy. And of course, he lost to Kevin Lee. So his last 3 fights, he's lost 2 of them. But he did have a big win over Rafael Fiziev, which is, pretty impressive. Then, they tried to schedule him for, 4 fights. I know that Moicano fight pulled out. The Gamrot fight pulled out. The Ismagulov fight pulled out. And then I think he had another guy they were supposed to match him with. That fight also pulled out. And now he's taking on Yamato Nishikwa. Sorry, pronounce on the pronunciation, but this Japanese guy's the real deal, dude. He's on a huge win streak, but that's the thing. He hasn't been fighting top guys. So 10 fight win streak, which is crazy in MMA. He's like the number 2 ranked Japanese pro lightweights, but he's taking on a real deal fighter. I don't agree with the odds being minus 550, but I'm leaning towards Magomed Mustafaev on this one. I'm going to go with him, but minus 550, I don't know if I agree with that, especially a guy on a big win streak like Yamato. Up next, Zubaira Tukhugov versus Lucas Almeida. Zubaira, another guy who's Khabib's boy. He's the guy who jumped in the cage and punched Conor McGregor during that whole brawl after the fight. And he's taking on Lucas Almeida. Now, Zubaira Tukhugov, he's got 2 wins in his last 3 fights. He had that split decision loss to Hakeem Dawodu. Close fight, could have went either way, but Hakeem was able to run off with it. Now he's taking off Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida's last 2 fights, pretty impressive. Coming off 2 straight finish wins. His last fight, he beat Mike Trezano. I just think Zubaira should be able to get it done, man. Just their whole camp, dude. They got just more better training partners. They got probably the best guys to work with, and that's all they do. These Dagestani guys, that's all they do. So I'm going with Zubaira Tukhugov on that one. Up next, Volkan Ozdemir takes on Nikita Krylov. Volkan Ozdemir coming off a pretty impressive victory over Paul Craig. He was able to stuff a lot of the submission attempts. He was in some bad positions, and he's got some good submission defense. Now he's taking on Nikita Krylov. Nikita Krylov, super well-rounded dude, good on the feet, good on the ground. I think he should be able to get it done, and I'm slightly leaning towards Nikita Krylov. I think if he's able to mix up the grappling with the striking, it's going to give Volkan Ozdemir a hard time. If he just wants to strike with Volkan, I think Volkan will get it done, but Nikita's a smart dude. He's going to mix up the grappling, the striking, try to get on top. Volkan Ozdemir does have good takedown defense, but I think if Nikita mixes it up, I think he should be able to get it done, and I'm slightly leaning towards Krylov on that one. Up next, my boy Chao Bohala. This guy's been winning a lot for me. I love this guy, Chao Bohala. Been on a roll lately. Got, a huge win streak. I think 11 wins in a row. His last fight was against Armen Petrosyan. Just dominated Armen Petrosyan everywhere. And I think Makhmud Muradov he's a good fighter, but I think Chao Bohala just going to run through him. Gerald Meerschaert submitted Makhmud Muradov, and I think Chao Bohala would just murder Gerald Meerschaert. So I'm easily going with Chao Bohala on this one. Up next, Sean Brady takes on Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad, last fight, it was an ice pick against Vicente Luque. Everyone was crazy on me I can't believe you're taking Belal Muhammad as an ice pick, but it's just a bad matchup for Vicente with the grappling. Now I think Sean Brady, on the other hand, is a really good grappler. He's a guy who's been grappled with Craig Jones, and he's doing all these grapplings like the Fury Pro grappling events, and he's a really good grappler. 15-0 as an mixed martial artist, taking on Belal Muhammad. I think Belal Muhammad is probably going to just want to keep it a wrestling match, but I think that's going to be hard to do. Sean Brady's really good ground game, man, and I'm leaning towards Sean Brady on this one. Yeah, Sean Brady, I think should be able to get it done. Now we got Beneil Dariush, Mateusz Gamrot. This fight is going to be for real. Beneil Dariush got wicked jiu-jitsu, decent striker, got some heavy hands. You guys seen that fight with Jakar Close? He was like almost knocked out, came back and knocked out Jakar. Crazy. Now he's taken on probably, in my opinion, one of the best guys in the division, Mateusz Gamrot. This guy's for real. I picked him his last fight against Armen Petrosyan. He was a huge underdog. Now, this guy should be 22-0. In my opinion, he should be 22-0. That one split decision loss to Guram Kutateladze. Go ahead, watch that fight again. Gamrot won that fight. In my opinion, this guy should be 22-0. He's taking on Beneil Dariush. I think he's going to dominate Beneil Dariush, especially in the grappling department. Does Dariush maybe have a better submission game? Maybe. I don't know. But Mateusz Gamrot, overall, better grappler. He's a guy who's been in there at the ADCC 2019, just like super incredible grappler, man. You see how he dominated Armen Petrosyan, who's just got wicked grappling himself. I'm going with Mateusz Gamrot. The fact that it is 3 rounds, though, Gamrot it looks good in those 5-rounders, but I think he should be able to get it done against Beneil Dariush. Up next, Petr Yan takes on Sugar Sean O'Malley. Petr Yan, the real deal. He lost his last fight, Aljamain. Some people thought Peter won. Some people thought Aljo won. It was close. Aljo did have the back control in those 2 rounds, but Petr Yan, I thought, won the other 3. But he's fighting the best of the best. He's beat Corey Sandhagen, dominated him, dominated Jose Aldo. He's taking on Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, his toughest fighter that Sean fought is Chito Vera, and Chito Vera just, dominated him. He got injured, but yeah, I just don't see how Sugar Sean's going to be able to beat Petr Yan. Petr Yan's just better everywhere. Maybe Sean might have the more one-punch knockout power, but I don't think he's a better boxer than Petr Yan. Petr Yan's got wicked boxing. And, if this fight goes to the ground, I think Petr Yan dominates him on the ground as well. I think he's a better grappler. I don't know how Sugar Sean wins this unless Petr Yan, doesn't train and doesn't have his coaches again for this fight. But Petr Yan all day on that one. Now, co-main event, Aljamain Sterling takes on TJ Dillashaw. Aljamain Sterling, ever since that KO loss to Marlon Rice, he's been on a roll, Last 2 fights, he had that DQ win over Petr Yan, but his last fight against Petr Yan, he was looking huge, dude. At the weigh-in, I don't think I've ever seen this guy look so good physically. He looked really good, man. This is going to be a really tough fight with TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw is the real deal. It could be a bad matchup, too, for Aljamain, because Aljamain Sterling likes to take guys down, and TJ Dillashaw has a wicked takedown defense. Now, if you can't take TJ down, now you're forced to strike with TJ Dillashaw. I think TJ Dillashaw is the more dynamic striker. Just the way his footwork is, switching stances, he's really good, slick striker, and I'm going with TJ Dillashaw on this one. I know he hasn't fought for a while. He's been out, but I think he should be able to stuff the takedowns of Aljo. He's a really good wrestler, TJ. So if he stuffs those takedowns and he keeps it a striking match, I think he can pick Aljamain apart for 5 rounds. And I'm going to go with TJ Dillashaw on this one, the underdog. Now, the one everybody's been waiting for, the main event, Islam Makhachev takes on Charles Oliveira. Both these guys been, looking really good lately. Islam Makhachev, in my opinion, should be one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in MMA. Has not got that credit yet, but he will. I assure you, he will, especially after this one. If he goes in there and starches Charles Oliveira, I think he's going to start getting the respect he deserves. He's been living in Khabib's shadow for a bit, and this is a way to get out of that shadow. And I think he's going to dominate Charles Oliveira everywhere. I think his grappling, his top game, is just going to be too much for Charles Oliveira to deal with. I don't think Charles Oliveira is going to be submitting Islam Makhachev. If he does, I'll be very surprised. Now, Charles Oliveira, he might be the better striker out of the 2. But that being said, Islam Makhachev, not a slouch on the feet. He's no slouch on the feet. But the grappling, I think if Islam gets Charles Oliveira down, it's going to be game over. I've seen Charles Oliveira get submitted before. I was watching that fight live when he got submitted by Anthony Pettis. Yes, I know Charles Oliveira, much different fighter, but, I just think he's never fought a guy who's got the grappling like Islam Makhachev. I think once Islam Makhachev gets on top of you and you start to feel that posture, that strength, and you start eating shots by this guy, and he's passing into dominant positions, I think you're going to be in big trouble. So I'm going Islam Makhachev. Now my ice pick for this card. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, might not know what an ice pick is or ice parlay or whatever. Pretty much, I give you a pick to bet on what I'm betting on, and it's a double up. So if you take that person, it's going to be always a double up. I'm not going to give you a minus 500 favorite and be like, oh yeah, he's an ice pick, but no, because you're not doubling your money with that. So my ice parlay, is going to be Islam Makhachev parlayed with Petr Yan. If you parlay both those, right now you will get more than double your money, which is exactly what you're trying to do, right? Double up. We're the double up boys. So that's my ice pick. But man, I got a lot of, even like guys like Armen Petrosyan, Makhachev, Chao Bohala, Mateusz Gamrot, Petr Yan. Dude, I'm super confident in all those guys. Just super confident. I'm going to drop another video closer to the fight showing maybe method of victory, something like that when they drop those, because I haven't seen my bet gambling site hasn't dropped those yet. But when they do, I will try to let you guys know. But yeah, those are my picks. And if you guys want to follow them, follow. If not, do your thing. And good luck. Let's make some money. Out.